My mom's name was Martina, and she was diagnosed with first cancer in the colon, and then they discovered it in the liver shortly after, and that was in March of 2012. Shortly after diagnosis, we were put in touch with Dr. Desi, who was her oncologist. She had such a warm way with my mother and spoke directly to her that it was very reassuring for her. And she spoke very clearly to her. My mom's first language isn't English, she's Slovenian. So I would go with her to the appointments because her command of the language is very good, but in appointments it was always a little different, and the language is different too. So the discussion on treatment came up, and because of my mom's age, she decided that she wasn't going to, they weren't going to do a lot of treatment. So in fact, she never actually had treatment for the cancer. We basically started maintaining or keeping her pain at bay. My mom started having some emotional issues with the cancer. So the Juravinsky Center and the Sports Center were very helpful because I was able to put her in touch with a social worker, which was terrific. She was a really great person for my mom to just talk to about what was happening. Up until Christmas, we felt like we could manage, and she felt like she could manage, and my dad was definitely managing and managing with the medications and that. So that was quite good. In January, I think what happened was the cancer just started growing faster, and my parents were tired, and the medication was getting more complicated, and we realized that we needed to have more help. We weren't really sure what was available, and my parents, being very frugal people, they were concerned that it was going to start getting expensive and things like this. And that's when the doors of palliative care opened for us, and we couldn't believe how much was available to us. And I think, certainly in retrospect, if we had known that earlier, I think it would have been a little less harrowing for my parents. It was once the nurse was able to visit a few times a week, that made a big difference. And the nurses were amazing. There were 3 of them generally. We saw a few others, but 3 of them mainly through the whole time before she passed that were really good with my parents. The other thing that we were informed about was about getting a palliative doctor. So my mom started seeing one of the palliative doctors at Juravinsky, which also switched up some of her medication and made her more comfortable. I guess the only drawback was, and this is understandable, was that if there were different nurses that came in besides the usual ones that we had for visits, sometimes they would want to switch up something, and sometimes it didn't work. So, but that's always the risk or the gamble that you take with the medications. I felt we were lucky, and we had like an addition to the team with this pharmacist. Pharmacist was great because he was able to talk to my father and explain everything that was going on. And a couple of times he also questioned it, or he would say, you know, I'm still waiting to hear from the palliative doctor about XYZ. So he was a great communicator, and so that was a big help. With my sister and I there, we realized we needed more help as well. So then we made the call, and the personal support worker, we had the time set up. And they were fantastic because they would take care of Mom, but they were also teaching us, which was fantastic because we wanted to know. We wanted to know what to do when we were on our own with her. Without the team, the care would have been impossible. We wouldn't have known what to do. And with the team, it made it, we felt like we were doing a good job because we wanted to participate, and they helped us participate. we'd be with her and think, wow, what would happen if we didn't know who to call, or if they were alone and these people who came to us were. You're amazing.